Some moments begin quietly, but end up shaking an entire room, and that was exactly what happened the day a stranger tried to judge a boy she knew nothing about. It started with a single assumption, a single glare, a single moment of unfair suspicion, and by the end of it, she would wish she had acted differently. The afternoon sun warmed the small community park as 14-year-old Malik Thompson waited near the fountain, headphones on, backpack by his side, and causing trouble. He wasn't even moving. He was simply waiting for his ride, his mother. But to a woman walking her dog near the benches, that simple moment turned into something entirely different. Her name was Karen Whitmore, known in the neighborhood for making quick assumptions and even quicker accusations. She slowed her pace, eyes narrowing as she watched Malik glance at his phone. He looked calm, relaxed, respectful, but she didn't see any of that. Only saw what she decided to see. Stepped closer, gripping her phone as if preparing for battle. "Excuse me," she said sharply. Malik pulled off his headphones, confused. "Yes, ma'am. What are you doing here?" she demanded. "Standing around for too long, waiting for someone. Are you following people?" Malik blinked, surprised. "I'm just waiting for my mom." She wasn't listening. She had already created a story in her mind, and every second only fueled her suspicion. Malik tried to stay respectful. His mother always taught him to keep calm no matter what. But the woman's voice grew louder, accusing him of things he hadn't even heard of. And then, without warning, she stepped back, lifted her phone, and dialed the police. Malik froze. He hadn't done a single thing wrong, but suddenly the world felt sharp, cold, unfair. His heartbeat echoed in his ears. He whispered to himself, "Mom, please hurry." What he didn't know, what the woman certainly didn't know, was that his mother was far from ordinary. And when she arrived, nothing in that park would ever be the same again. Sometimes life gives people a chance to correct themselves before they make a mistake, but Karen wasn't ready to take that chance. As she spoke to the emergency operator, her voice carried through the entire park. "There's a suspicious teenager here," she insisted. "I don't feel safe." Malik's stomach tightened. Suspicious? He was wearing his school uniform, holding a math textbook, and standing exactly where his mother told him to wait. "How could that be suspicious?" Operator asked calmly. "Ma'am, what exactly is the teenager doing?" Karen answered with a long stretch of silence before muttering, "Standing here, watching people, acting odd." The operator hesitated, unsure what emergency she was reporting. While Malik felt all eyes slowly turning toward him, parents pulled their children closer. Others slowed down, confused but cautious. A moment of unfair judgment spread like ripples across the park. To defend himself, but every instinct warned him not to argue. His mother always said, "Your dignity is stronger than their assumptions." But even dignity felt heavy when fear was staring directly at him. Karen waited for the police to arrive. She stood tall, convinced she had done something heroic. Malik kept trying to breathe slowly, reminding himself that his mom would be there any second. Just then, a sleek black SUV turned the corner and rolled to a stop. The door opened, and out stepped a woman whose presence instantly shifted the atmosphere. She walked with confidence, dressed in a tailored navy suit, her expression calm but powerful. Malik felt relief wash over him. "Mom." Everyone turned toward her, curious. Karen paused mid-sentence, suddenly unsure. Because the woman approaching wasn't just a parent, she carried herself like someone important. Someone respected. Someone unshakably in control. His jaw tightened. "And who exactly are you?" He had no idea the answer would change everything. The moment Malik's mother stepped closer, the wind seemed to shift. He rested one protective arm around her son's shoulders and looked Karen in the eyes, not with anger, but with a calm, sharp clarity that made Karen take a half step back. "My name," she said evenly, "is Dr. Naomi Thompson." Title alone unsettled Karen. Hadn't expected that. She still clung to her assumptions, shrugging stiffly. "Well, I called the police because your son was acting strange." Naomi looked at Malik, then back at her. "Acting strange how?" Karen swallowed, suddenly grasping for words. "He was just standing here at people." Naomi raised an eyebrow. "You mean waiting for his ride? At the exact spot I told him to." Karen felt heat rise to her face. Glanced around, hoping someone would support her, but the park now watched in uncomfortable silence. Even her dog tugged at the leash, wanting to walk away. Naomi continued softly, "You scared my son. Made him feel unsafe for doing nothing wrong." Karen stiffened defensively. "I was protecting the neighborhood." "A child?" Naomi asked. Karen didn't answer. Her confidence wavered. She had expected confrontation, maybe yelling, maybe excuses, not a poised woman dismantling her assumptions with gentle precision. Before she could respond, the distant sound of approaching sirens grew louder. Karen forced herself to stand straighter, trying to regain her sense of control. Malik's breathing grew shakier. Naomi placed a steady hand on his back. "It's all right," she whispered. "Here now." Karen exhaled shakily as two police officers stepped out of the vehicle. She quickly pointed at Malik. "That's him." He was wandering around, making people uncomfortable. But the officers didn't rush toward Malik. They approached Naomi first. And then Karen's world cracked further when they greeted her respectfully by name. "Dr. Thompson," the lead officer said. "We didn't expect to find you here." Karen stared, stunned. The officers knew her. Naomi nodded calmly. "Thank you for coming. But there's been a misunderstanding." Karen felt her certainty slipping like sand through her fingers. She suddenly realized she hadn't called the police on a suspicious boy. She had called them on the son of one of the most respected women in the entire county. The officers listened carefully as Naomi explained the situation. Her voice never rose, never trembled. Her authority came from clarity and truth, not volume. Malik stayed close, feeling safer with every word she spoke. Karen waited impatiently, arms crossed, trying to regain control of her story. But the more Naomi spoke, the quieter the park became. Even the officer's expression softened toward Malik. The lead officer finally said, "You were just waiting for your mom. You didn't approach anyone." Malik shook his head. "No, sir," interrupted sharply. "He didn't have to approach anyone. He was just standing there staring." "Ma'am," the officer replied, "standing still is not a crime." Karen looked around the park as if expecting applause, but all she saw were unsure faces. The people who once silently agreed now questioned everything. She tried again. "Well, I didn't know whose child he was." Naomi stepped forward gently. "That shouldn't matter." Karen blinked, thrown off. "What do you mean?" "I mean," Naomi said softly, "you shouldn't treat a child differently just because you don't know his family. You judged him before he even opened his mouth. You assumed the worst when he did absolutely nothing." Karen's throat went dry. The officers stood beside Naomi, not aggressively, but clearly aligned with fairness, not fear. Naomi continued, "Kids like my son are taught to be careful, to stay polite, to avoid situations that could be misinterpreted. And still, he gets treated like this." Karen tried to respond, but the words caught in her throat. She couldn't deny what happened. She couldn't rewrite it. She couldn't escape the truth playing out in front of her. In that moment, she realized she hadn't just misjudged Malik, she had exposed something deeper about herself. The silence that followed carried more weight than anything she could ever say. The officers eventually determined there was no issue, no threat, no wrongdoing. He spoke briefly with Malik, offering reassurance, and apologized for the discomfort he had experienced. Naomi thanked them politely, but Karen could barely breathe. She felt cornered by her own actions, and the worst part was, there was no one to blame but herself. Naomi placed a hand on Malik's shoulder. "Let's go, sweetheart." But as they turned to leave, Malik paused. His voice shook, but his words were steady. "Mom, can I say something?" Naomi nodded gently. Malik faced Karen, not with anger, but with a courage that surprised even the officers. "I just want to live my life," he said quietly. "I wasn't hurting anyone, wasn't doing anything wrong. I'm a good kid. Didn't even give me a chance." Something about his voice, its sincerity, its honesty, cut through Karen far deeper than any argument. Naomi looked at her son with pride. Karen looked at him with something new, regret. She whispered, "I may have overreacted." Malik frowned softly. "You didn't overreact. You judged me." Karen didn't have an answer. She lowered her gaze, realizing the weight of what she had done, not just calling the police, but teaching her dog, her community, and even herself the wrong lesson. Naomi gently guided Malik away, but the echo of his words remained in the air long after they walked toward their car. The first time, Karen felt truly speechless, not because she was silenced, but because she finally understood what silence felt like after someone else had been unheard for so long. On the drive home, the tension slowly left Malik's shoulders. Naomi kept one hand on the steering wheel and the other gently squeezing his hand. He didn't cry, he didn't complain, he simply stared out the window, thoughtful. "We're very brave today," Naomi said softly. Malik shrugged. "Was scared." "That's what makes you brave," she replied. "Speaking up even when you're scared." Back, letting her words settle. "Do things like that happen a lot?" Naomi hesitated. She wanted to protect him, but she also believed in truth. "Sometimes," she admitted quietly, "but you never deserved any of it." "You're not alone." Nodded slowly. "Glad you came." "Will always come," she said. "Ways." At the park, Karen remained frozen on the bench long after they were gone. Her dog nudged her hand. Confused by her quietness, she finally understood something she had ignored for years. Her instincts weren't always right, and sometimes they were deeply wrong. She replayed Malik's words over and over. "You didn't even give me a chance." For the first time in a long time, she wondered if she had become the very kind of person she always claimed to stand against. Someone who judged first and listened last. And for the first time, she knew she had to change. The next morning, the park felt different. Sun rose gently, casting warm light on the benches and playground. Karen returned, unsure if she deserved to be there, but knowing she had something she needed to do. She saw Malik again, this time with his friends, laughing, playing basketball near the court. Naomi stood nearby, watching them with a soft smile. Karen approached slowly, her steps uncertain. Naomi noticed first, her expression calm but unreadable. Malik stopped dribbling. His friends stepped aside. Karen took a breath. "I wanted to say something." Naomi waited quietly and looked at Malik. Her voice cracked. "I'm sorry. Truly. What I did yesterday was wrong. Judged you without any reason, and I'm ashamed of it." Malik studied her face. She wasn't defensive. She wasn't dismissive. She was simply honest. Naomi allowed a gentle silence before asking, "What will you do differently next time?" Karen swallowed hard. "Listen, think, and treat kids, treat everyone, with fairness." Malik nodded slowly. He didn't smile, but he didn't turn away either. "Thank you," he said quietly. Aaron exhaled, relieved. She stepped back, giving them space. She walked away. Malik returned to his game, lighter, freer, stronger. Naomi watched him with pride, knowing this moment wouldn't define him, but his courage would. Sometimes change doesn't begin with loud speeches or big fights. Sometimes it begins with a boy speaking truth, a woman choosing humility, and a community learning to see beyond assumptions. In that park, on that morning, something new began, a small but powerful step toward understanding.